Hello everyone, thanks for joining me on StubbleMeetsSteel. I thought I'd continue on with some of the aluminum comparison razors series, and if you haven't seen, I got this Aylsworth Apex aluminum, so I thought what better razor to compare it to than the Karve Bison, which is also aluminum. And I didn't realize that the specs were so close on these until I just looked them up. They're both pretty much 4 inches. The Aylsworth is 35 grams, this one's 33.5. The blade gap on them is almost identical. It's 0.70 on the Aylsworth, it's 0.71 on the Karve, and then blade exposure is also very, very similar. It's 0.005 on the Aylsworth, and if I remember correctly, 0.06 on the Karve. So they're very, very similar in pretty much all regards. I would say they both have very, very large, easy to rinse out lather channels. The grip on these, I would have to give maybe the grip and the knurling. The tactile feel on the Karve is just absolutely outstanding as far as texture and grip wise. So let's get into it. For today's blade, I've got the Gillette 7 o'clock, the greens or the super stainless, the Russian ones. And for today's soap, let's see if I can say it right again. I've got the older puck of the Elysian. This is the grapefruit, and it smells fantastic. It's basically just straight up grapefruit to me. They call it grapefruit mousse, but that's the prominent note that I pick up on. It for sure is just straight grapefruit, and that's why I like it, especially this time of summertime. Perfect. Today's brush, I've got PAA's Atomic Rocket, synthetic, 26 mil. Wasn't sure about this Atomic Rocket when I first got it, but it seems like it broke in a little bit, and I do quite like it. It has some good splay to it. Has just enough backbone for me. I don't really like a lot of backbone, especially in a synthetic. All right. Oh, I forgot my... All right, so we'll do the Aylsworth on this side of my face. This is with the grain. These blades are first use. I bought both of these razors. They were not gifted to me or sent to me by the manufacturers. I bought the Karve new, and I bought the Aylsworth used. Really been enjoying the Aylsworth. I find it very smooth and forgiving, but very efficient for how smooth and forgiving it is. Very nice pairing with the blades. I remembered the blades being very good in the Karve, so I also knew they're good in Aylsworth. Feels like just maybe a tiny bit more blade feel on the Karve. This is a fun shave. I haven't done this one off camera, so this is my first time comparing these two as well. I was real curious to see how they would do head to head. So far, they're very, very close. They're both very nice. Again, I would say maybe just a tiny bit more blade feel on the Karve, but not a huge amount by any means. You know, another thing I've started paying attention to, besides blade pairing, is soap and brush pairing. Definitely seems to be some magic there as well. Some brushes just work so much better with certain soaps and vice versa. Both felt pretty safe over my Adam's apple right there without moving the skin off to the side. I'm always cautious when I do it, but it felt pretty safe. New trick I kind of learned that I started doing recently was right there for my across the grain on my neck. If I would skin stretch on the first pass, sometimes I would find with certain razors, certain combos, it irritates. So I won't skin stretch the first pass, and then I kind of go over it again and do the skin stretching. And then obviously there's much less hair for it to pick up. So not only do you get all your pickup done, but it doesn't irritate like skin stretching on that first pass tends to for me. Wow, the Aylsworth feels really good on this pass. Super, super smooth. Wow, that was nice. That was also pretty smooth and pretty nice right there. I'd maybe give it the slightest edge to the Aylsworth and smoothness on that pass to pass on the second pass there. losing soap. Both razors rinse out very easily. All right, let's see where we're at. The Aylsworth side is nearly flawless. There's a tiniest bit right there. Seems like I either missed more or left more with the bison there. This will tell me here, did I get it now? No. Okay, so there you go. No matter what I do right there with those more medium blades in the carve, I can't get that part of my face. Even with skin stretching. Whereas the apex just got it. So yes, that's not my sharpest blade. Maybe from a sharp is just a tiny bit sharper. Hold on, let me get cleaned up and then we'll talk. All right, I'm back. Throwing some witch hazel real quick while we're talking. All right, so again, this is not the sharpest blade. The Gillette 7 o'clock greens are not my sharpest blade, but I remember them being very, very smooth, in particular in the carve. So that's why I wanted to use them today, and I've used them in the Aylsworth and liked them as well. So the Aylsworth, I was able to get BBS with a more medium forgiving blade, whereas with the carve I wasn't. I have to go with a little bit more sharp blade. So that would be something to mention there. Not quite as efficient, even though the numbers on paper are pretty much identical. Grip wise, I'd have to, if I was have to be real nitpicky, I think that the tactile feel in the grip on the carve is just a tiny bit better. I noticed that It's not a locked in angle, but the Karve has a little bit more of a set angle built into the head. You can play with it, but I noticed that the Aylsworth doesn't have a locked in angle. You can play with it, a lot more, and it doesn't fuss. So it depends on what type of razor you like as far as what the angles go. I don't find that the Karve's hard to find a shaving angle by any means. I've shaved with this Aylsworth quite a handful of times, probably almost a week straight now, and I've had nothing but exceptional shaves with it, with pretty much any blade I've put in it as well, which I find really impressive. And one of the things I really like about it is that I can still get BBS for a super mild and forgiving razor with a medium razor blade. I don't have to use the sharpest blade. Sometimes the sharpest blades can irritate me. Not often, but every once in a while. So with a more smooth, forgiving blade, you don't have that experience, at least for me anyways. Price-wise, I bought one of these used, the Aylsworth I did, but new, this is $69, and if I remember right, I want to say the Karve was around $85 or something like that, so similar pricing. They both offer quite a handful of colors. The Aylsworth, this is the black, and then you can get green, blue, red, and silver base plate. You can also get it transposed colors where it's aluminum and then the base plate is still the colors. With the Karve, they offer it in a bunch of different colors as well, so lots of different options there. Weight-wise, they're almost identical. For me personally, I'd have to give just the tiniest edge to the Aylsworth. It was super, super smooth on a few passes there, and like I said, I've had nothing but fantastic shaves with it. The Karve, I don't want to say that I've had bad shaves with it, but there was a few times where I felt like it had a little more blade feel. Maybe this Elysian was just a show winner today and had tons of cushion, and that was why I enjoyed the Karve a little bit more today. But overall, I would have to say maybe shaved experience-wise, I'd have to give a slight edge from me personally to the Aylsworth. If you like a tiny bit more blade feel, you might really enjoy the Karve Bison. I haven't tried the Overlander, but from what I hear, there's a little more blade feel, and it's not quite as smooth as the Overlander. So there you go, there's today's review. I got a couple more. I can try the Aylsworth against the Lupo. I can try it against the Timeless Aluminum. I can try it against the Shield DE. Let me know in the comments which one you want to see next, and I'll do another comparison with this Aylsworth and run it through the aluminum razor series. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.